No messing around.
So you're saying there's a chance, or are you? I am, but maybe not for long. Let's talk about it next on the DLLS Rangers podcast. For the record, nobody on this show is in favor of road rage. And yet, the Rangers need a little road rage as they hit the road right now for a very, very important road trip. Hi there. Welcome into the DLLS Sports Studios. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast. John Radigan here. Jeff Wilson there. The Queen Cat is back, and great to have her, and great to have you too. But it's like really strange when a road trip against two sort of also ran teams, Jeff, becomes this important, right? This isn't a trip against the Astros, or it's not against the team right in front of the Rangers. It's against two teams that, probably definitely won't figure into the playoffs this year. But man, it's important for the Rangers.
Yeah, they've got to win both series at minimum, and Jock Peterson last night said they got to win 5.
Wow.
May have to sweep both series. That's kind of the way that Jock said the team needs to look at it. They had some success in June, and then right before the All-Star break, they had a little road success, but not in the second half, by golly. And so that's got to be changed right away.
It does. And in the second segment of this program, we're going to get into the road woes. I kind of did a dive into the terrible road trips that this team has had. We'll talk about which was the worst, if there was one that was the best, and much more as we sort of break that down for you in the second segment. We've also got a long conversation that Jeff and I had, as well as some other beat writers, with Ross Fenstermaker to digest and sort of dissect a little bit. But let's start with the state of this race, because, again, before the homestand, Jeff, after that road trip where they could only win 1 out of the 4 in Kansas City, and, they only win 2 games on the road trip, you're just like, okay, this is not going to happen, right? They fell to 14 games under 500 on the road. It just didn't feel like it was going to happen.
Yeah, and when we look back at the season, there are going to be a lot of things we can point to, and the offense, of course, has been dreadful, which has probably led to the road record. Though the Rangers' offense is kind of like middle of the pack on the road this season, but 14 games under 500. If they were 7 games under 500, they'd be a playoff. They'd be winning the division.
Yeah.
It's and again, the thing that gets me is this is bad road teams are usually young teams. I mean, there are 3 teams in the majors that have worse road records than the Rangers. They are the Rockies, White Sox, and the Pirates. Okay.
Yeah.
You never want to be lumped with that group.
No.
Never.
No.
And yet here we are. And if it can change, it can always get better. It can change now, and it needs to change now. If they don't have a winning road trip, I think that pretty much will put the final nail in the coffin.
It sure does. It sure seems like it, because when you consider this race, you have to realize and recognize that the Rangers are, the schedule gets significantly more difficult after this road trip. So, these are 2 teams that are both under 500. The Diamondbacks are actually only 4 games under 500 right now. They were supposed to be, again, a good team at the beginning of the year, and then they started selling pieces off there at the trade deadline. But the Athletics, look, we've talked about this a lot. The Athletics have a ton of young talent.
Oh, yeah.
It's not galvanized yet, Jeff. It's not together. And let's face it, it's going to be difficult to pull it all together when you're playing in a minor league ballpark and you have some of the challenges that the Athletics have.
Yeah, no, their offense is no joke. They've got some really good young hitters, and that team, that lineup, if it stays together in 2 and 3 years, by the time they get to Las Vegas, has the potential to be really good.
Yeah,
with the Kurtz and Wilson and Lawrence Butler and Soderstrom and Shea Langoliers always seems to mash against the Rangers. So I mean, they've got some guys. The pitching is what's holding them back, and it's hard to win when you've got young pitchers who are feeling their way through, or you have older guys who are looking for rebound years. It's tough, and of course they traded away their closer at the deadline, so the Rangers need to score some runs. There's opportunities to score some runs, and that's what has to happen, because the pitching, even though you're going to a minor league park that's supposed to be a pitcher's park, the pitching is going to be better than the A's. That's just the bottom line.
Yeah, let's look at the rotation as it sets up right now, and the A's don't even know who they're going to pitch in Game 2 of the series. But yeah, Leiter off a great start, Merrill Kelly too, and then Jacob deGrom. And so yes, you have a decided advantage really in each one of those matchups. If all you look at, Jeff, is the ERA, relative to these guys, you've got an advantage in each one of those pitching matchups. So your point is great. They need to take advantage of, inferior, lack of a better word, pitching. And so the model there was set yesterday, right? Last night. I mean, Bohanowicz, they knew, everybody knew this guy wasn't scheduled to pitch. Now, I don't think they're going to score 60 in the series, right? I don't think they're going to have three 20-run games. But again, when poor pitching or bad pitching presents itself, you've got to take advantage.
You do. And look, Jeffrey Springs, former Rangers draft choice, 30th rounder.
Wow.
Kind of a cool story. He's reinvented himself as a starting pitcher. He had Tommy John surgery not that long ago, and he's serviceable. Doesn't throw hard, throws a lot of changeups. So, but if you make him throw strikes, you're going to get to him. And the Rangers have been better about forcing pitchers to come to them, and you see it with some good walk totals, some reduced strikeouts with a lot of guys. It just seems like they have a better collective approach, and maybe the Brett Boone thing is sunk in. Maybe it's like, hey, what we've been doing isn't working. Maybe we should listen,
right?
Or maybe there's a game where they saw all the things that Brett Boone has asked them to do come to fruition, and but it's been good. You're seeing better two-strike approaches. You're seeing aggression on the bases when it's there. You're seeing a lot more home runs at home. The Rangers hadn't hit a ton of home runs at Globe Life Field, and all of a sudden they're knocking the ball out left and right. So the tricky thing with Springs is he's left-handed.
Yes,
so that's the one bugaboo there in the Rangers. With their issues against lefties, though, again, they took care of Kikuchi the other night, who was an all-star.
I think it's been a couple of lefties in a row they've done okay.
Yeah, they did well against Max Fried.
That's right.
So there are guys that they've been good against. So, but you got to go out there and do it, and we'll you gotta see it to believe it.
Yes,
and I've kind of been in that mode for a while now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You got to prove it, right, Rangers? You got to prove it to us. Again, they did it yesterday, and when you consider the news that surrounded this team really over the course of the entire homestand, They found out during this homestand that they were going to lose Evan Carter for the rest of the season. They were going to lose Marcus Simeon for the rest of the season. They found out they're going to lose Nathan Eovaldi for the rest of at least the regular season, in addition to having already lost the John Grays of the world and many other Chris Martin, they discover, is going to be out for a longer period than they thought. So there's all these injuries stacking up. And really, after the Eovaldi news, I'm thinking, okay, this is it. And somehow, Jeff, this team has responded unbelievably well. I asked Boach yesterday, in your experience, is there this whole backs against the wall mentality? And he said he thinks there is. And he also said, and we must have that right now.
Yeah.
And so maybe that is what we're seeing.
Yes, I believe that. I believe it. And I asked Jock Peterson about it last night, and it kind of turned to the younger guys who've been up and maybe in place of the injured guys. And he said they're given some life, some energy.
Sure.
And whatever it is that's been happening, and Jock didn't have an explanation. It's real, let these young guys play. Zeke Duran's been fantastic.
Unbelievable.
He really has been, and Cody Freeman gives a good at bat. He's, so excited when he hit his home run the other night.
Michael Hellman,
who came in and contributes, and they're not everyday players probably, but as I've always said, and I said it the other day, when a major league player gets regular at bats, he's gonna be okay. And Zeke Duran hadn't been getting regular at bats. Cody Freeman's gonna have to fight this now.
Sure,
but there is a little life. You feel a little life. I think Wyatt Langford has really helped bring a spark to the team. I think the team feels that. I think front office feels that. So I think that's something else that's emerging about Wyatt. Not only is he having a good late surge like he did last year, but now he's comfortable.
Yes,
and he feels more comfortable to be himself and maybe light a fire. He is mild mannered, no doubt about it. But you saw after his double on Friday night, he shouted on his way to first base, "Let's go!" And then he realized, hey, I can get a double. He slides in and he gets even more fired up.
Yeah,
and then single, double, game's over.
Right.
So I mean, it's there. It's a real thing. And this team hasn't played with a ton of energy.
No.
And so to see it is nice. And hey, maybe it is giving them a spark.
Yeah, and the thing I think that's been frustrating to fans, and maybe it has been less prevalent, this energetic approach on the road, but I think one of the things we see from this team is if things aren't going well sort of at the outset, they get down. Kind of hangdog, there's like you need that energy then too. Maybe even more. You need it then.
Yeah, and that's you a bunch of old dogs and you put a puppy in the in the seven hole and he's out there ready to chase a stick or whatever and bouncing around and it happens. And I was thinking about like when David Murphy was in here the other day and some of the things maybe we talked to him about and we never got around to it, but like. Those teams that he was on, 8 through 13, had Elvis Andrus.
Yep,
and that guy would spark a team in a heartbeat.
Pretty much for his whole career too.
Ian Kinsler could steal a bag and give a fist bump or say something and get the guys going. So I mean, you have guys like that and who can back it up too. That's what it is. And so if you have Zeke Duran getting on base and getting, hey, we don't expect that. Oh, look at him. Look at the joy he's playing with. Look at how hard he's playing, And you can go back to that silly sequel of Major League when they're getting their butts handed to them and the injured catcher goes in there and beats out an infield grounder and it all fires them up. I mean, that's Hollywood for you, but that kind of stuff. It's in the movie because it happens.
Yep, it can work.
People believe it.
Yep, it can work. So hopefully the Rangers keep the energy going. Of course, winning helps inspire that. But as Jeff indicates, so do young players who are just excited to be here and share that enthusiasm with their veteran teammates. So lots more coming up as we continue to talk through this. The road trip starts. It's basically already started. The games, though, don't start until tomorrow. We'll dive into what the heck's been wrong with this Rangers team on the road this season next. And, of course, later, get to lots more talk about other things happening around the game of baseball. It's all coming up. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast.
We haven't heard from our friends at Monarch Money for a while, so it's good to see them back.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because Kat and I were just talking about how we're going to make all this passive income.
Yeah.
And once the season's over, we're diving into Pinterest and all that stuff. We're gonna be silent marketing geniuses and making millions of dollars.
And you need to know what to do
with it. I mean, it's just gonna be falling out of our pockets if we don't call Monarch Money and use the code DLLS at monarchmoney.com to get 50% off our first year. Look, Monarch is built for people with busy lives. Lord knows we're busy. You have your business with your wife. I've got 2 kids and a wife who works harder than I do. And so we're always juggling things. And so Monarch will do the heavy lifting for you on your finances. And you will never have to touch a spreadsheet again. That's the Monarch promise. And again, monarchmoney.com. Use the code DLS for 50% off your first year.
See that beautiful bee there behind Jeff? That's a lovely, bee with a green. Yeah, there it is. A green and white bee. That's the logo for Big Brothers and Big Sisters, who are having a very, very special event called Cigars and Conversations with us. They're our partner, and we're so proud to be associated with them. And we ask you to join them and join us over a cigar and drinks. And one of those drinks, by the way, will be free for you, and you can learn how to get involved in this wonderful, wonderful program. It's September the 13th of this year. It's from 2 to 6 at the Casa de Monte Cristo Lounge. And there's going to be lots of, leadership there from Big Brothers and Big Sisters, community leaders. Some of us will be there just puffing on a few stogies and drinking a few drinks. There might be some bourbon sip that day. So join us there. RSVP is required to attend the event. All right, so this road trip, we mentioned it, 14 games under 500. That is 26, Jeff, and 40 on the road.
Yes.
And the Rangers, of course, are 15 games over 500 at home. So you do that math, and that means they're 1 game over 500 for the season. And that disparity between home record and road record is the greatest among any of the teams that are quote-unquote good, the teams that are really in the hunt for the playoffs. It's just too wide of a gap. And the Rangers, don't have any time really, but they have to improve it now.
They do. So they, got to hit, got to pitch, got to play defense, and avoid the late inning shenanigans. You go back to the all the way to April of the first series against the A's. The Rangers won the first game, their highest run output. Marcus Semien homered. Everybody was excited. Then that darn J.P. Sears beat them in the second game. But then, they're facing Ginn in the third game, and they go into the late innings with a lead, and the bullpen can't hold it. So I mean that's kind of where everybody started pulling their hair out about the bullpen. Well, maybe opening day. Anyway, my point being, it's got to be all 3 facets. There can't be anything that slips at this point. Got to play solid. The good news for the Rangers, I guess while they're out on the road, needing help, not only to help themselves, but from the other teams ahead of them, the Mariners will be on a 9-game road East Coast road trip.
Oh, okay.
They start at Cleveland tomorrow. Then they play at Tampa. So
wow.
They haven't had that experience yet. And then they play against the Braves, who are so talented, but just, helter-skelter.
Haven't put it together.
Or Jekyll and Hyde, whatever they are. So there's an opportunity. These East Coast road trips, the Mariners just played one. These East Coast road trips are tough on the Mariners. The Astros, meanwhile, they are at home.
For the Angels first.
For the Angels
Yep.
and the Yankees. So that'll be interesting. And then they come to Globe Life Field. So they're in the middle of a little bit of a tough stretch. After they leave Arlington, they go to Toronto.
Oh, wow.
And then they get to go to Atlanta. So, there's tough stretches ahead for the two teams ahead of them in the West. Just talking, the Guardians there have a chance this weekend to make up some ground.
Sure.
A control your own destiny situation, if you will. They have that chance to take care of some business here. So it is time to scoreboard watch, especially when you're not one of the teams in position. You need the help, but that's the good news for the Rangers, I guess, is that while they're kind of having a road schedule against lesser opponents.
Yes.
The teams ahead of them have got some tough foes ahead.
Yeah, a little tough sledding for them as well. That road has been tough sledding for the Rangers all year. Their first road trip was fantastic. They won twice as many games as they lost on their first road trip of the season. That was a 2-1 road trip against the Reds. So I don't want you to get too excited. And they did have one other road trip, Jeff, where they won twice as many games as they lost. And that was a 4-2 record against Pittsburgh and Baltimore. It kind of felt like they should have done better than 4-2 on that road trip. And those are the only two winning road trips of the season. We were so excited about that road trip right before the All-Star break because, I guess, they finished 5-5, right? And it was a tough trip. San Diego, the Angels, and then the Astros. And they did play really well against the Astros, right? Took 2 out of 3 from the Astros.
Yeah.
So that made everybody feel good going into the break. But normally, again, you're expected, if you're a good team, to win 2 out of 3 at home and go 500 on the road. So we're not like singing about a 500 road trip. Wow, that was great. 500, The
Raiders would take 500 right now. I can guarantee you that. They'd take.
If they were 500 on the road, yeah.
They'd be running away with it.
Yeah.
When you look at the standings, in the wild card, it's the Red Sox, the Yankees, and then the Mariners locked in there, and then you have the Rangers. They have the Royals in front of them. The Royals are 3.5 back. Then the Rangers, then the Guardians, who are just a half game behind the Rangers. So
yes,
it's a tight group right there. And again, opportunity is ahead for all of these teams. Now we're talking about a tough schedule coming up for the Rangers. The Guardians the Guardians. They have the Mariners, then they go to the Red Sox and Tampa.
Wow, yeah.
And then they come home and face the Royals. So those are 3 big series
right
there.
Huge. Look, they appear to be, and again, they're only a half game back, so they've stayed in it ever since they got swept here. But man, did you see the stuff happening in their dugout the other night with Vogt? And I can't remember which player it was. They were just fighting and clawing and scratching, and it's not. It doesn't seem like things are hunky dory in Cleveland.
Yeah. Well, they still have 6 games left against the Tigers.
Yeah.
So that's trouble.
Not easy. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, but the Rangers have to. They know they need the help, but they can't count on it. They can only control what they can control.
Yeah.
And that's going out and playing better. And and it again, we talked about it for the first 15 minutes. It's got to happen on the road. It just absolutely does. And you're kind of like, well, what's the weakness on the road? What's the issue? Well, the Rangers have the best road ERA in baseball. Okay, 3.42. The offense, believe it or not, is like middle of the pack. But I think early on it lagged so much that it was one of those scenarios where, and we've seen it a lot, where there's no margin for error for the pitching staff,
right?
Because the offense isn't scoring any runs, and that's why you saw the walk-off loss in Sacramento
Yep.
in the series finale. And you saw the series at Tampa. The Rangers were swept in 3 games to start June, and they ended up winning the next 2 series, which was great. But that sweep where they just made mistake after mistake after mistake. There was in every one of those games there was a critical error that led to their demise. And Kumar Rocker infamously was at the center of one of those. But there was the Tyler Malley start where things kind of fell apart because of a defensive miscue, and so you can't, if you're not going to score, you have to be nearly perfect, and it's not fair. But now that the offense is scoring, maybe the pitchers won't be so uptight. Maybe you don't have to go to your high leverage guys in the 6th inning 3 days in a row.
Right.
And they're just little things in these games that even when you're up 4-1 make a huge difference.
Sure.
As opposed to 2-1.
Sure.
I mean, it just and you still are trying to manage these guys, make sure they're fresh. It's just there's a lot going on, but away from home. The Rangers haven't had much margin for error at home.
No.
They've had even less margin for error on the road. So
the
formula for me: get out, score early, give the starting pitcher a little support early on. The pitcher then respond with a couple of clean innings to start, and you're off and running. And so I think that's the formula. That's what the Rangers need to work on. Yes, they've been able to come back a few times on the road, just not nearly enough. But again, these two teams, the A's can't pitch, and neither can the Diamondbacks. So there's opportunity to score some runs because the A's and the Diamondbacks are going to score. Okay, they're pesky offensively.
Sure.
They can run into balls. They can create havoc with the Diamondbacks, for instance, with Carroll and Pedromo. There's some decent bats there, and so the Rangers need to be able to score. That's just the key. You got to score.
Yeah, they've got to, and again, hopefully they don't have to, quote unquote, outscore them because the pitching for the Rangers is generally good enough that they are able to hold down even good offensive teams. How many times have we seen and said this year that the starting pitcher did his job? He left the game. He'd only given up 2 runs in 6 innings, and the Rangers still figure out a way to lose it, whether that's without the team scoring anymore or with them, adding on a couple of more runs and either coming from behind to win or just, keeping the Rangers offense down. And that's, that is the question as you begin to approach this. I mentioned it before Jeff came onto the show last night, but the Soriano start on Monday by the Angels. Boch mentioned after the game something about, a tip of the cap to Soriano, and I get annoyed by the tips of the cap to the opposing pitcher. But Boch doesn't do it. He's not tossing tips of the cap around every series, every game, anything like that. And then he mentioned the Soriano start again yesterday before the game. So, and Soriano's not that good, but he was that night.
Yeah, he has that potential. He can throw it 100, and he can sink. He's got a splitter and a good slider. And if he's in the strike zone, he's trouble. But he's not Tarek Skubal,
right? That's Paul Skeens, for God's sake.
Right.
Yeah.
So I understand your angst, and I agree with you on that. He was very good. Okay, but only occasionally can you tip the cap.
Yeah, that's just, you've got to use that sparingly. And in fairness, I really do believe Boch does not overuse it. Perhaps we have, perhaps other post-game shows have over the course of the year, but I just don't want to give the tip of the cap to a bunch of, that Rangers series, that road trip, I should say, against the Yankees and the White Sox, which I think was the worst of the year. The Rangers needed a late comeback win to beat the White Sox and avoid going 0-6 on the trip. And worse, avoid being swept by the White Sox. I don't want to give every pitcher on that damn road trip a tip of the cap, Jeff.
Well, I mean, I don't even know who's in the White Sox rotation.
No.
So that
Yeah.
there's no Jack McDowell's not in the rotation,
Yeah.
and Wilson Alvarez aren't
what's
there anymore.
Mark Burley. Yeah,
Yeah,
Burley's
exactly.
not there anymore.
You can't. And that's the deal. The offense has made too many of these mediocre starters look fantastic.
Yeah. Got to stop right now. It's got to stop on this road trip. We come back. Let's talk a little bit about not only current things with this team that are that pertain to the front office, but also this will be a chance to dive into some of the minor leaguers and some of the future that is indeed bright for the Rangers. We talk about it next on the DLLS Rangers podcast. Oh, but first we want to remind you that in November you have an opportunity to go to Las Vegas with the Cowboys and our Cowboys crew. What a fantastic trip it'll be to Las Vegas. True Fan Travel is the group that puts it together for us, and that's an all-inclusive trip that'll get you to Las Vegas via an airplane, of course, and then it takes care of your hotel room and your ticket to the game. As Jeff said yesterday, you've got to bring your own bail money and and in your own gambling money.
Yes.
And maybe the two are very, very closely related. But anyway, what a fun trip that would be. The Cowboys have never played the Raiders in Las Vegas, so we feel like this would be a really fun time to go there, see a little history. I don't know if the Cowboys will be any good by then. I hope like hell we're still not talking about Micah Parsons signing by then.
What about his back?
And his back? I don't know. I don't know these answers. I just hope we get that thing done, and I want you to be a part of it, even no matter how good the Cowboys are.
Yeah, Prize Picks, and while we're talking about friendly wagering, is in our favorite daily pick'em.
Yeah,
daily fantasy. I've already made my pick, my lineup for the day. It's an MLB lineup, which typically is what I do. Let's see here. What do we got today? This is pretty funny. Jason Alexander, the Astros pitcher, more than 3.5 strikeouts. He's already got 5. All right.
Good.
All right. So then tonight, Clay Holmes, more than 26.5 pitcher fantasy. Adam Mazur, I can't remember. 2.5 strikeouts. You got to get 3 strikeouts. Jeremy Pena. 1 hit, Jeremy Pena.
All you need.
He hasn't gotten there yet. Anyway, prizepicks.com/DLS. You get a $50 bonus after your first $5 wager.
Daniel Escobar,
Speaking of a $50 bonus.
Much. Yeah.
Daniel Escobar.
That is our buddy.
Super chat.
Yeah, we got music, we got sounds, we got all of it going. Daniel, thank you. Yeah, thank you very, very much for watching, for hanging out, and for commenting. Yeah, we just try to have fun here and try to give our knowledge and our experience and put it to the test. And I'm glad you like it, and I know many do. So thanks very much. And
he's my favorite right now.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
He's the fan of the day.
Yeah,
as they say, and we appreciate
he and Leon are neck and neck. Leon has made a series of super chats, but the 50, I think that's our biggest one.
Yeah.
So
and yep. Thank you. And I did love exactly Leon, the George Costanza thing.
Yeah. That's what made me laugh.
Yeah, I know. It's like, okay, yeah, George Costanza. I like that. So anyway, very good. We had a long chat the other day. So one of the days on the homestand with Ross Fenstermaker. And, when we were talking last night about what's happening with Kumar Rocker, and maybe we should update that just a little bit. He, obviously was not called up yesterday to start that game. It was started by Jacob Latz. Of course, that was the game Evaldi was supposed to start, but he had to, he's on the shelf now. So, and fans, if you didn't see yesterday or didn't see last night, might be wondering, why the heck wouldn't they just call up Rocker? He's been here for such a big part of the year. The truth is, Rocker is still in Arizona working on some mechanical things, is, basically all that we've been told. And Boats was asked yesterday, what are those things? I think Jeff even asked him, what things? And he's like, I don't really know. And I'm not sure that's true. I think Boch knows. I think that, there's certain things you don't want to divulge. Anyway, point is, and you brought this up last night, and I just, in a post-game show, didn't have time to bring it back to this, but it sounds very much like what they did with Jack Leiter, right? I know that the lead up to it was very different because Leiter, anytime he had any struggles, they were happening at the minor league level, and Kamar's were happening more at the major league level. But the point is, it worked for Leiter. And I actually asked Fenstermaker about this. Like, are you building a model? Even though I used his key phrase, development is not linear, but it's not. But the reality is, maybe there's a model, right? And the way the Rangers have been going at developing pitchers, look at it and say, well, shoot, this worked with Leiter. Let's do it with Rocker.
Yeah, and let's kind of break it down here. Okay, so Kumar Rocker has been fantastic in the minor leagues.
Yes, he has.
He hasn't had a lot of starts in the minors, but the starts he's made have been dominant,
almost unhittable.
He's just been dominant in the minors. So his issues then are in the transition to the big leagues, and he's had some nice starts in the majors this year, no question about it. But is he as good as he can be? And the Rangers say no. And with Leiter on the other hand, it was 2 years of just straight struggle. And you heard, well, maybe he's listening to his dad too much. Maybe he has too much going through his head. So basically they pulled him out of action, and Jordan Teagues, who was the minor league pitching coordinator, now he's just the he's the bullpen coach, the big league big league bullpen coach. It was basically Jordan and Jack. That was it. And working together, so one voice, one clear objectives. And when we talked to when he returned, he was good, and then he was in the stay ready group that during the postseason. The Rangers had a number of guys around, including Wyatt Langford, stay around, keep working out in case needed. And Jack was one of them, and I talked to him, and he couldn't have been in a better mood and more optimistic about things. Comes out last year, had a great AAA season, not a great MLB debut, not a great first taste of the big leagues. But you look at his season now, it's 3.81 ERA.
Yeah.
He's about to make his 25th start tomorrow. And that's, coming off his best career start.
Yep.
Is he going to be able to carry this through? You kind of talk about things that have been different on the road. Jack has not been nearly as good a pitcher on the road as he has been at home. And it's weird though. You can look at his starts this year or in the second half. I think he's only gone past 5 innings once on the road. He hasn't given up a ton of runs, but he's had to work.
Right. And
they've been short starts, so you get to the bullpen early. So he needs to rectify that. And if he pitches like he did the other day, granted it's easier to pitch with a big lead, but if he can get out there and pitch and know that trust his stuff, know that it's going to work in the strike zone, then he's going to be in good shape. It's going to be efficient. He's going to get deeper into the games. You don't want to start, right? You don't want to start with a road trip that has no days off, 6 straight games. You don't want to start it with a guy who only goes 3 1/3 innings.
Nope.
So you don't want to see Caleb Bosley, for instance, tomorrow night.
No.
Unless it's 9-1 Rangers in the ninth. You got to keep, Jack needs to be efficient and work a little deeper into the games. But it maybe, and I'm not saying this is a problem, but maybe they both came from Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some Vanderbilt in them that they need to get cranked, need to get knocked out. Maybe there's commonalities there that you can point to. I think Jack came out of college with the really jerky, powerful delivery, had a lot of moving parts. That's been cleaned up. Kamara always seemed to have a clean delivery, but they're working on that. They're trying to clean it up, and it's all about command. When these guys are commanding their pitches, they're good. They have the great stuff. When they're not, it can be a long day.
Sure. Absolutely. And we've seen a few of each from both, but as far as Leiter goes, he has done, everything you would want and expect and really hope for. I would say he's even exceeded expectations, particularly with this last start showing, sort of a growth through the process. But he's probably exceeded expectations for a rookie pitcher, Jeff. I mean,
100%.
He's had a good season. And because it's been up and down, I think we, as observers of this thing, have been kind of like, lighter. This has been a really good year for a guy in his first full season at the major league level. Some of the other things that we talked to Ross about, sort of the continuing growth of this minor league system. And right now, some of the best prospects, Jeff, for the Rangers, and in part because they did trade away, 6 arms to acquire the players they did at the trade deadline. But a lot of the best talent is at the lower levels. And as it pertains especially to Hickory, I think it was, Ross isn't very thrilled. The front office isn't thrilled with the way those guys are performing there.
Yeah, that's true. And we didn't get into a huge deep dive about Hickory, but they're in not Hickory, Hub City. Hub City.
Yeah.
I mean, not that Hickory's hitting the cover off the ball this year, but Hub City is kind of where the draftees from 2024 are. It's where Malcolm Moore, the first pick, is, Dylan Dreiling, the second pick, Casey Cook, the third pick, and they're not doing a great job offensively. But none of the team is hitting well, and so you wonder, well, is it the park effects? This is a brand new ballpark. It's really hard to hit the ball out to right field. That was Chris Young's observation when he went out there early in the season. He went out for their opener, and it looks like right field's going to be death. They have Glider Figueroa, interesting international prospect, lots of power, but he's hitting 206. But you say, he's only hitting 206. All right, well, Dylan Dreiling's hitting 224. Jeez. Casey Cook just got his average above 200 at 204. Anthony Gutierrez, who's had a decent year, but now he's dealing with the elbow or forearm soreness, he's hitting 258, but only 2 home runs. Malcolm Moore, who was sidelined for a while, 188. So this is a group that has a lot of attention on it because of how recently they were acquired. The one hitter who has moved on is Keith Jones, who's now at Frisco. He had a nice start, but he was also in that draft class, I think 9th rounder out of New Mexico State. Great guy, terrific bowler, but Rangers need him to hit. They
terrific
need all these bowler.
We're talking about the 10-pin.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bowler.
He has a 300 game under his belt.
Does he really?
Keith Jones. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's true. So anyway, that's the group that's when the Rangers are searching for a wave of prospects. This is supposed to be a wave, and right now they're waving and missing.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Now you can go to Frisco, where Walcott is, and he's above league average. Considering his age, the Rangers are pleased. Ross is pleased with his season so far, but you've seen like Cam Colley kind of come alive this year. The mystery of Aaron Zavala continues. He had 3 home runs last night.
Yeah,
all opposite field homers, but he, the second round pick in 21. Jack was the first round pick. Then Zavala, it looked great for a couple of years, and he was injured, and it hasn't been the same. And Abby Ortiz was there, and he moved on to AAA. So it's like who's the great prospect behind Walcott? And I think there are a lot of different answers. Is it Gavin Feen, the first round pick?
He's from this year. Wow.
From this year, right?
Who's just played his first professional game, but he's off to a really good start.
Is it Alorki Hernandez, who was Alorki Rodriguez, who was the big signee in the international class this year and had a great year in the DSL? I don't know. I mean, it's Malcolm Moore. It doesn't seem to be right now.
No, clearly.
Not at 188. Now he was hurt, and he's trying to come back from that. But the system is looking for another star.
Well, and it's tough to develop catchers, of course.
Right.
But you expect a guy who came from college, like Malcolm Moore to perhaps and hopefully be a little further along, a little better developed at this point. So they'll keep working on it, and they're they've got a pretty good focus on it. At least we got great clarity on Rosario. Not
God Almighty.
We asked Ross about that too, and he's like, no update.
Yep.
So yeah, we don't know. Still hasn't had the surgery. Just know that, so that we don't know what the heck's going on there. We'll keep you posted.
I have
though.
a theory.
Oh, well, maybe we
we'll
have
talk
to
about
dive
after the
into
bell.
the theory next. Yeah, and we'll also dive into another real fun thing that Jeff is a part of. We've got to remind you that it's coming up. It's next. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast. And a couple of things. First of all, become a diehard, but also subscribe, because if you'll subscribe, we're less than 100 away from 30,000, and that's free. Diehard is damn near free. Right now, it's $36. That's $3 a month to become a diehard. You get a $35 shirt for free. It's all part of our football club special, and you get that free football club T-shirt. And if you just scan that QR code, you can become a diehard and get access to all the things that we put out there on our website behind the paywall. And you'll also get access to 20% off of all of our events, including that Cowboys trip that we were talking about earlier. So a diehard for $36 is a no-brainer. And signing up, or rather subscribing to our free YouTube channel is also a no-brainer. So we get to 30,000, and you get the benefit of being a diehard.
Yeah, and you can find all of our shirts at store.allcitynetwork.com. We got beer steins and coffee cups and flags, and I keep hearing hats.
Yeah,
coming soon. But this is the Dallas collection. It's new and pretty sweet. I've got one of them. John, you've got a couple of them. Mm-hmm. And anyway, so do that. Store.allcitynetwork.com. Like John said, don't forget about our Vegas trip with TrueFanTravel.com. A lot of websites to remember, but all partners. And when you're a diehard, you get 20% off of that trip. And that ain't cheap.
No.
So invest in a cheap membership and take advantage of the 20% off you're going to get. I guarantee it's going to be you're going to save a lot of money. I guarantee you that. So
you're going to save so damn much money, you're going to need Monarch money.
That's right. So scan the QR code, store.allcitynetwork.com, TrueFanTravel.com, and you'll be taken care of.
All right. So let's first do the theory on Rosario. We firmly believe he needs Tommy John surgery, and we've believed that since April, May?
February. When Chris Young said he will have Tommy John surgery.
Oh, I wonder why we believe that. Yeah.
So anyway, I was watching that quarterback show on Netflix, and there was the very first episode.
Which one? Which guy?
Kirk Cousins.
Cousins, okay.
So Kirk Cousins, who everybody fell in love with from the first show, he was coming off of like an Achilles injury.
Yeah.
And he went to some foreign land, I think Costa Rica, somewhere internationally, and he got stem cells injected, because you can't do stem cells in the United States. No. So he had to go to some sketchy place in some other country
and got stem cells with a dirty needle.
Probably. Maybe that's why he had a bad season.
Yeah.
Anyway, so my theory is that Rosario, at the behest of his agent, suggested an ulterior treatment.
Okay.
I don't know that for sure.
It's an interesting theory, because I must admit, the times we've brought it up to the front office people, they seem maybe a little annoyed, like we are.
Well, I mean, right? You asked him about it in April. When's he having a surgery? Should be soon. We'll let you know. What about? Oh, it's May. Has he had anything new on Rosario? No, nothing new there. June, same. July, same. This is the guy who entered the season as their number 3 prospect behind Walcott and Rocker.
Yeah.
Okay. And so where is he? Where is this guy? And when is he going to pitch again? You know, if let's say he did pursue an alternative treatment, and it doesn't work, he's missing 2 seasons. because you're going to have
then
to
he's
have
still
Tommy
got to
John
get the surgery. Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on there,
man.
but
Yeah.
anyway, that's just me and my conspiracy theories.
Yeah, I don't mind that one. We'll try to dive into that and dig into that. I'll go to Costa Rica. I mean, I'll do that
Yeah.
for the team. I'll go to Costa Rica and I'll see if I can find him.
That's big of you, John.
Yeah, it's the least I can do.
Yep.
All right. So September the 12th is a big day. We do not have a show that day, but we have a big day that day, Jeff.
Yeah, it's Do It for Durit. Swings and Strings is what we're calling it this year. It's our 11th event. The swings, meaning golf, at Grapevine Golf Course. And then the strings, country music artists who will be at Texas Live. Rhett Miller.
Rhett was a part of the very first one.
Yeah. As was John Radigan, our auctioneer. The very first one helped us raise $200,000. Anyway, Rhett Miller, Josh Weathers, and the Bird Dogs, George Dunham's band.
Oh, good. Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic.
So we're going to have some music. We're going to have some fun. If you go to doitfordirt.com, you can get links to all the events. And again, it's September 12th, so we're 2 weeks away, 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Yep.
And it's just great. And if we're going to have some Anthony and Emily try to come in here on set with some of the stuff we're going to get.
Oh, good.
The Royals went crazy. Thanks to the Royals, with George Brett bat and jersey autographed.
Wow.
Bobby Witt stuff, Sal Perez stuff. We've gotten a lot of help as
and
always.
And is the
baseball.
stuff up? Is the auction?
The
live?
auction goes live tomorrow, so I'll be tweeting out the link tomorrow, and we will be continuing to add to it because the Rangers are in the process of collecting the items that they're donating. On Monday, I believe it was, I walked into the clubhouse and they had a table with a Do It for Durit logo and letter what we do, and a list of the guys we wanted to sign bats and balls. They had 3 or 4 dozen baseballs, and then behind the table was just this giant box of bats.
Nice.
So and I had seen the names, the guys who had checked off that they had done their required work. Corey Seager had signed, Wyatt Langford had signed, all the big guys, all the names you expect. Pitching side, DeGrom and Evaldi, they'd all signed. So we're going to have some awesome stuff, as we always do. You can do it. I think it's 38 auctions is what we use. But I'll get that information and we'll put it in the show description next week, and I'll tweet it out and all that stuff. But circle the date, September 12th. It's a big one.
It is a big one. It'll be fun. It'll be a great day. So be a part of it. But even if you can't be, make sure you go and avail yourself to some of these things that are going to be available. Some of the best sports memorabilia out there is available at this auction each and every year. So make sure you do that. Next year, who knows, or maybe even the year after that, we might be able to get Mark Teixeira to sign a pin that he wears at Congress, or a little flag or something. Mark Teixeira is running for Congress, Jeff.
Yeah. He made the announcement today, and he's going to take Chip Roy's. He's not going to take it. He's hoping to replace Chip Roy in District 21 in Texas, which basically is Round Rock and West.
Okay.
Round Rock, a little sliver of Austin. It appears to be not saying one thing or another.
Llano out there, maybe?
Just the shape of the district makes it look like it may have been gerrymandered.
Oh, okay.
During all this gerrymandering controversy, there was one district in Illinois that was shaped like a snake.
Okay.
This one is shaped kind of like a cow with its legs in the front.
Okay.
So that's kind of like a skinny sliver, and then a big body to the west. Fredericksburg, for instance, is in this area. Kerrville is in this area. Anyway, I think this
Which city's the udder?
I'm
just if it's shaped like a cow.
Well, I guess if it was a bull, I think maybe Kerrville.
Oh boy. Okay.
Well, anyway, I never covered Mark, but this does not surprise me in the least.
No, it doesn't surprise me. Mark Teixeira is the only baseball player I have ever seen that came to work. Now, he wasn't in a full suit and tie, unless they were going on the road, and in those days, for sure, you wore suits and ties on the road. But he'd come to work every day at the ballpark in nice dress slacks, a nice like button down, shirt and a briefcase. And I thought, this is interesting. I mean, this is a man who is treating this wonderfully fun kids game job like a job. And it obviously paid off very handsomely for him. It paid off very well. But it was a completely different approach than so many of the guys who you see walk in there in flip-flops and, shorts and T-shirts, and their hair's all messy and they just woke up out of bed. Man, Teixeira looked at this thing like damn near like it was corporate America.
Well, I think he might have treated it that way too, and he had the agent who definitely does. So anyway, that's interesting. I don't know if I'm assuming there's going to be a primary.
I would think
he'll
so.
have to win.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, so it's a long road. I mean, I swear, for a guy who's been through, the rigors of, I don't even off the top of my head know how many, 15 major league seasons,
sure,
maybe 20. For a guy who's been through all that to enter into this realm, this arena, it's a tough one, man. There is nothing easy about politics and running for political office. So, but you know what? Good for him, because obviously he didn't do it. He isn't doing it, obviously, for the money. He's not doing it for the fame. He could care less about that. He's doing it because he has a feel, right? He feels in his heart that he can help this country achieve what it is trying to achieve and whatever his beliefs are. So good for him. We'll keep an eye on that for you. Last night, the Dodgers faced the Reds, and they struck out the Reds, Jeff, 19 times. That's the most since 1901 for a Dodgers team to have 19 strikeouts in a game. And 9 of those, Jeff, were authored by Shohei Ohtani.
Well,
he went 5 innings and threw 87 pitches. Maybe here we are with 20 games left. He's stretched out.
Yeah. I mean, now he might. He probably would pitch in the postseason for him if he's going to throw like that.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. 19, and that's a lot. That is too many. That's 2 an inning.
I mean, it's amazing. Because there's 27 outs. 8 people didn't strike out. That's it.
Look at Leo there. He ordered the headlock T-shirt.
Oh, attaboy, Leo.
Attababy. Attababy, Leo. That's like a super chat.
That is.
I like it.
Appreciate you, Leo, I should say. Number 2 fan of the day. We're still going with Daniel for the $50.
100%.
But we appreciate you, Leo.
Hey, Benny had a question. Benny, or maybe it was more of a comment. He hopes that the Rangers get the payroll front office. I sure hope the front office makes sure this team is not going to finish up past a little higher. There we go, Freeze. Finish up past the CBT threshold. That should be a top priority because they need to be free to spend. This offseason.
Good point.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna, the CBT will jump to $244 million. It's only a $3 million jump next year. I don't recall who pointed out that Carlos Santana is on waivers. Well, there's kind of a Guardians salary dump. They might have released him actually. So if they released him, then they're on the hook for the salary. If he was claimed off of waivers, the claiming team picks up the salary in this scenario. So I don't know what they're going to do. I think that the big day, you said September 12th is a big day. Well, August 31st is a big day because by midnight or 11:59 p.m. on August 31st, if you want a player to be eligible for the postseason, he needs to be on your roster by then. So you may see a bevy of moves like this where guys get claimed on waivers and maybe some minor league veterans at AAA right now who might be able to help out a team. Maybe they work out a deal like Craig Kimbrell did to get out of his Rangers situation. So it could be a busy few days here on the transaction wire. The question then becomes, well, where are the Rangers in all of this? Because right now, and I said it last night, I think I did, you don't want to shed Adolis Garcia right now.
No.
You can't.
Nope.
He's hot, and you're trying to win as many games as you can. And I mean, that would save you probably $1.5 million and then if you did like Phil Maton, he's only making $2 million. So it's a sixth of $2 million.
Yeah,
it's
not
not
enough.
a lot.
Not
So
enough.
I don't know that they'd be able to. They'd have to get rid of a lot of guys to make that happen. And at that point, that is throwing in the towel. And at 1 game over 500 and 4.5 games out, you can't throw in the towel.
Not throwing in the towel. Neither are we, but we're going to have to say so long for this day. You'll see content from us over the course of the weekend. We will be back again on Sunday. It's Getaway Day from Sacramento. You can't get away from there fast enough, I'm told. But in any event, we'll be back after that game Sunday afternoon, early evening, with another edition of the DLLS Rangers podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.